Damn, titties, please. Sorry. Yo, what's good? It's Zenos, and I would like to share some beginner advice on how to improve in Idle Showdown. I know for some of you, this could be your very first fighting game, and it can be a little scary, which, trust me, I understand, I know that feeling. It's not fun, but I would just like to share some advice that I feel that can make your experience a lot easier. So, with that said, let's get to it. So my first tip would be pick a character that you enjoy. Everyone has their own taste and reasons to why they pick up a character in a fighting game. In my case, I chose Ayame because, well, she's a pick up and play character. I tend to learn better when I play easier characters, and you know, she's a fast and cool rushdown character. Plus she has a sword, so if you just want to choose a character that you like because they're top tier, do that, or they just look cool. I'd rather you choose a character that you're comfortable with than to regret it later on. Which leads to my next tip. Get to know your character. Understand your character's moveset. I feel like the biggest thing when it comes to playing a fighting game is understanding your character and what they can do. Luckily, this is a modern fighting game in 2023, so whenever you look up the command list, they actually tell you how these moves work, or like the strengths and weaknesses. A lot of it is pretty useful information to know. For example, Ayame has a special move where she can just do Rekkas just by hitting the quarter circle forward as a motion. She has a light version, a medium version, a heavy version. But if you do the EX or heavy version of the move, the fourth hit can either be an overhead, low, or a standing attack. And I would have known that if I didn't read the description at the bottom. And now I have a better way of mixing my opponent. So my next tip is learning a bread and butter combo, or just a basic combo. Don't get me wrong, having cool, swaggy, hard combos are cool. They're satisfying, they do a good bit of damage, or you can do it just to have some style. But there's gonna be plenty of times, especially if you're a new player, you're not always gonna hit the hard stuff online. It's gonna require a bit of muscle memory. So what I would advise that helped me out, and hell, I still do this now, even some tournament players outside of this fighting game tend to do this, but go for a basic conversion or combo that you can hit consistently enough to where, hey, I can keep doing this and it can work without messing it up. And for my next tip, do not be afraid to use shortcut specials. Look, it's cool to do special motion inputs to get certain routes done. That's perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. You actually gain more meter and benefits doing that. But it's also okay to use the shortcut specials, because there will be certain situations where, say if I play a character that has to do the down 8 or down light, down medium, or down heavy input to get an anti-air down, or just do a regular DP. If I don't have the reaction time for it, if my opponent's in the air, I could just hit down in the special button to get a quick anti-air out the way, and it's a combo starter once you get to hit 2, depending on the character. So in situations like that, that will be important to use a shortcut special. It's similar to how it is in games like Grand Blue or DNF Duel, where it's okay to use the shortcut input. So don't feel afraid. Understand your meter system. You got 2 meters in this game, your super chat meter and you have your star meter. Now, I'm not finna go into extreme details because I did explain the meter system in this video right here if you want to go in more detail, but I want to make it simple and straightforward, that way you can understand it better. I'll say it like this: you have 2 different meter systems and there's 2 different ways to build it, but managing your meter and figuring out what you can do with these meter options is really good. So for example, for super chat meter, which is the meter at the very top, it doesn't carry throughout rounds. So once you end a round off, that meter is gone. So it is good to use all that meter as much as you can. You can use that meter to cancel specials, to make other specials that are normally on safe in certain cases, or you can use it for off collabs. Then you have your star meter, which unlike your super chat meter, carries throughout rounds. So say if I knock down on my opponent and if I had 2 bars of meter, I will still have that meter once the second round hit. Also, you can use this meter for supers, off collab assists, heavy skills, and supers. So do keep that in mind. Try to figure out what ways you can use it and put it into practice. Another good bit of advice I would like to give is to experiment with your assists. Remember, this is an assist based fighting game and you have up to 9 assists to choose from, and they all have their unique and really cool properties. There are assists that can literally debuff your opponents, protect you against projectiles. Some you can use for pressure, combo extensions, or even play lane with your opponent. So it just really depends on your play style and what you prefer. Try to match those assists with your character and see what type of good synergy you can pull off. So just keep that in mind. Now, I do hope all the advice that I mentioned in this video helps, but there's one last tip that I want to give out for anyone who's watching this video or any person who's getting into fighting games. Have fun and learn at your own pace. It's not a race, it's a marathon. Everybody has their own pace and skill. This even goes outside of fighting games. I may learn things faster or slower than the other person, but take your time and just sit down and just have fun with the game. I hope these tips and tricks that I mentioned in this video can really help you guys out in the future, not only when it comes to this game, but for fighting games in general. With that said, my name is Zenos, and I hope you guys take it easy.
Don't you want a rematch?